There's 25 of them for every one of you. And actually, given their staffing level, there's probably 35 of them for every one of you. But I won't go there. The decision to outsource dining services, I believe, has now resulted in a contract, but only if, but I believe it because it didn't happen last week. It happened over the weekend or today or yesterday. So the negotiations are extremely complicated to do that. I can tell you that the negotiations, well, I can't tell you, but my rumor mill tells me that the negotiations were the most difficult ones were the insistence of the university on protecting staff who have been employed for many years, particularly their benefits. And the contract should reflect that. I've asked Grant, who's probably everyone's best friend when it comes to microanalysis of financial contracts. I've asked Grant as soon as he can, but he hasn't been able to get a copy of any of these contracts that are being negotiated at College Station to see what they look like. You know, we don't even know what they look like. Now, the decision to outsource is not entirely Admiral Smith's, nor mine, nor Grant's. It was, I believe, College Station was dominated by the desire of the Chancellor and with the support of the Regents. There is no question that the Chancellor and Regents remain committed to that principle. But as I said, the Regents have been down here many more times than ever before. They are much more aware of our differences than they ever were before. So it will be, well, it's never going to be easy, but it will be possible for us to communicate aspects of our world to them in a way that they understand it and don't just steamroll us. Okay, I can promise you that Admiral Smith is kind of hard to steamroll. He will stand up for us. Now, there's also self-preservation. And I don't mean preserving himself. I mean preserving, all of us. That we all have to adjust to the realities of resources, namely those that are provided to us. And one of the best tools that people have to accomplish their philosophical goals is to use resource withholding to engage you in the process of thinking about change. Now, with regard to how this is being perceived in College Station, I think the staff is, well, I know the staff has been very stressed by this. I would say they've been unnecessarily stressed by this, but that would be untrue. I mean, it's a stressful situation. Many of them are going to change their boss next week. Okay, they're going to report to a different, well, probably still report to the same person, but their paycheck's going to be signed by a different CFO, and it won't come from the state of Texas. It will come from a company. But the contract's being written in such a way that doesn't apply to all current staff at College Station. There are many things in the contract that are specifically designed to protect long-term employees. Again, I haven't seen this thing, so all I'll be able to do is apologize to you if it took that enough of the talk to know that. The meetings in College Station have gone better than expected. The reception by the staff has been better than expected. And, you know, I'm holding my breath to see whether, you know, all these promises that are, as you will too, are too, that all these promises that are being made to the staff are kept. That's the other issue. You know, you can negotiate, but if one of the other essentially abuses the agreement, that's a problem. And there, you know, but right now there's apparently no major issues. The other thing you should know is that A&M is huge. A&M is so big that it can't fail in the sense of a big bank. And so if there's going to be a failure, it's going to be this company that took over, and the company knows this. So the company is going to do everything it can possibly do to make A&M a happy client. This is the most important contract in higher education that company has, and it's a major company. Anything we do down here, if we do anything down here, is going to take advantage of that clout, because we will be part of Texas A&M University. Okay, we will, you know, we will insist on as much as we can get being able to benefit from the huge volume that A&M has. Anybody here who's been associated with the library knows just how much benefit we get from the buying power of the main campus library, electronic things, and computer systems. So, you know, I'll tell you some, you know, personal thoughts about it, which I'd rather you not quote because they are his personal thoughts. And, well, I'll express my worries. We, given our size, can't afford to really annoy the regents and our big brothers in College Station. We have to get along with them. They don't have to get along with us. And I've been here 35 years, and that has not changed at all. In our effort to get along with them, we have to fit into a lot of their structures. And one of their structures, you know, has to do with rules for staff, classified staff, all of that nature. And to the extent they change any of those rules, it will affect our rules down here. I don't know whether it'll be good or bad, but it'll affect it, and we'll be looking at that. But Grant's on point for looking hard at the contract. There's no stronger supporter of the staff's rights than Admiral Smith. This is an experiment that is taking place in College Station. We are very fortunate to be benefiting from their experience before we even look at this with more than curiosity. And to be honest, I mean, and of course we are looking at it with more than curiosity, because, you know, we sit here, you know, in my office, we sit and wait for the next shoe to drop. So, you know, if the chancellor calls and says, you got, what have you done? We're going to hum but we're going to start looking, because that's, you know, we're required to. We also have a fairly strong commitment for staff input. Now, the problem with staff input is once you get to the negotiation table, it gets turned over to the lawyers. And it's always frustrating. And it reminds me of building a building. You know, you get all this input until they start building it, and then they won't even let you in it until it's finished. So it's that's a time when it's really unpleasant, because it's your building, but they won't let you in it because the builders and the engineers, they're in control then, and they just throw you out of the room. I'm pretty much.
Rumor has it we are moving to a smoke-free campus. What are the plans for those who continue to smoke? Will they have to walk across Seaward Parkway in order to smoke, or will there be a designated spot somewhere on campus?
The president has the authority to declare it a smoke-free campus. The regulations are written in such a way that you can't find any place on this campus where you can smoke and still be inside the regulations. I don't know where you can go on College Station, you know, or in other campuses where you can do these things. But for example, smoking in your car in the parking lot is against the rules. And whether you're smoke-free or not smoke-free, you can't do it. It's a public place, and the rules are banning that kind of thing. We have smokers in fairly senior positions around here who are obviously, you know, concerned. You know, I always have concerns just from a personal liberty standpoint. But if I were to answer your question and I were a smoker, I would be looking hard at not smoking anymore at this job. Because I don't see the world moving the other direction, even in the least. And you know, if I could give you hope, I would. But, you know, join the wellness program. and you know, I don't know anybody who's quit smoking who's regretted that decision. Anyone. But I feel, you know, I don't feel your pain, but I can sense the frustration. You know, and if you're a smoker, which is not all that many people anymore, but in higher ed. So that's kind of a dodgy answer, but it's an intentional dodge because that decision has not been made. But I can't see any decision that allows us to have a smoking pavilion. I don't think it fits in. I think there's system regulation that makes that impossible, but we're checking. That's the best I can do.
Next question. Why do we hold the new student conference and campus previews at the CAG Center? This building is so run down and embarrassing. I've had so many parents and potential students come up to me and tell me that we must have taken a toll from Hurricane Ike big time. And it's taken us this long to recover and remodel this building. It's truly embarrassing. Are there any plans on remodeling this building or at least keeping it clean?
Well, there are no plans to remodel it. We plan to replace it. We have a proposal that's in draft form to replace that building with an academic building located right out there, completing the quadrangle. It would be similar number of square feet. It would be brand new. The CAG Center is not even on the master plan. It doesn't survive the evolution of this university. And then the question is money, and that's where Admiral Smith comes in, and he has already begun that process really hard with the regents. And we're engaging regents and hoping to even be able to persuade one or two to come down and visit the CAE Center. I have taken photographs of the CAE Center, and I have included them in, whatever information I provide to people when I try to persuade them that we need to move on from that facility. For those of you who really love the CAE Center, which there are a lot of folks who like it, so don't, that's just one opinion. There are many people who think it has a very open nautical feel. I guess kind of like a junkyard. It's a charming place to be. It's charming, and many people look at it that way. It's clear that people have made their own spaces their own. I mean, talk to David Lawhon. He thinks the honors room is a palace. but anyway, so you can look at it, you can look at it from that point of view, and I think many of our students, have you seen where the students live when they go off campus? What kind of environment they feel comfortable in? CAE Center is pretty darn nice. But the correct answer is, it's not the master plan, it needs to go away, we've got the quest in, it depends on funding, but that's our highest next priority.
Alright. The ladies' room in the CAE Center is filthy and disgusting. I've seen the cleaner in there take out the used paper towels from the trash can with her bare hands and transfer them to her own trash can, and doing this without washing her hands. The soap dispensers don't work, the toilet seats are often dirty and not clean. If you're not going to clean them, when are you going to refill the toilet seat covers? I have been to other restrooms in other buildings, and this is by far the dirtiest. Potential students, parents, visitors, sea campers come to this building often, and they have to use all of these. This is just a health concern. Why is it the tables that are used to serve students and their families in the CAE Center for the new student conference are never cleaned or tablecloths used? I see these tables being brought in and set up but never wiped down.
Obviously, I'll look into that. And we'll fix that. That's not okay. We obviously need to fix that. I didn't know it was the case. I think those kinds of complaints, feel free to tell your representatives on the TAMUG staff council, and they are not shy people. They will pass that on to me in a heartbeat. And I always react immediately, and they'll pass it on to Donna and Brant. They're perfectly comfortable expressing themselves. So you don't have to take that. We have to have clean restrooms. If it's a staffing issue, it's a staffing issue. I mean, unless we have a personnel problem, which I don't know of, because I think very highly of the staff in the, who are cleaning it. It seems to me that it's just, anybody that's using their hands to get things out of somebody's trying hard, so, we may not have enough people in there, and so if the workload exceeds their capability, or if it even is 30% higher than the workload at every other place, that's not good. We have to fix that. And we will. They will be spotless. Well, they can't be spotless, but they'll be clean within a week. Now, what I'd like to get is some soap that when you put it on your finger, it doesn't just fall right off. I don't know what they make that stuff out of. Do y'all have that problem?
Is there anything being done to address the issue of being able to see the men taking care of business in the restroom in the CAE Center next to the bookstore? When the door is open, there is clear visibility of what's going on. Namely, what must have parents of new students who have breakfast and lunch served to them in the CIU Center think. Apparently there was an email sent to Will Hydell a couple of weeks, but they have not got a response.
Well, that's not acceptable either. There are guidelines for that. It's, as a person who knows that facility, I do believe that restroom does not provide the necessary screening to meet the requirements for screening. And Donna, somebody help me. Help me remember it, not help me with the problem.
Next question, Regina. I got it. I'll have a curtain up tomorrow.
Oh, and they also wanted to know if any gentlemen in the audience were going to use that restroom after today, after hearing that they didn't. So the next question is, what is going to happen to Dr. Brad's job?
What's going to happen to Dr. McGonigal's position? We're not filling it. We're trying to adjust duties so that the position can be restructured or just wiped out. But we're not going to go out and hire another Brad McGonigal. Now we would if we could, but there aren't many Brad McGonigals in the world. He filled a special niche. He had special relationships with many, many people, and he had a significant salary. And bringing in a brand new person without connections who we don't know much about at that salary probably isn't wise. Or we, at least at this point, have decided it wouldn't be wise. We want to look hard at what we can do. As you know, in many ways, Brad's job is some ways like mine. It's kind of coordinating everything that's kind of going around, and keeping things, the wheels on. He would actually carry things around too, which I won't do. But he it's a coordination position, and it's a very difficult. It's a difficult slot to fill, and if we do fill it, it's going to be after a really complex search for the right individual.
Just bring Brad back.
Bring Brad.
Well, I think Brad might agree with you at this point in his dental career.
All right.
I'll let it go there.
When a job opening is posted for a TAMUG position, let's say the position in question is lead office personnel or manager. The qualifications are working knowledge of spreadsheet, word processing software, and financial management operations software. Is the job applicant tested in the use of this knowledge? If so, current employees were to be promoted to the same position, given that title and pay, shouldn't the same testing be given to that person? It disheartens an employee to get a phone call from a lead office person who makes a lot more money to be asked the simplest question on performing their daily job, especially when the information is provided at the end of their fingertips. I don't know, really do testing.
Well, I mean, our testing is kind of almost continuous in a lot of ways. Like any institution, it's organic. It grows. It finds out who's good at what. It dumps everything on that person that they can do good. It takes it away from the people that don't do it. Over time, there's a difference in the workload of those people, and but it's an organizational issue. It is. We do have. There may be some things we could do in training that we haven't done. Proactive training of existing employees. The trick in that is to, you want to provide training that's meaningful and not just waste people's time sitting in a room talking about the obvious things. But there may be some training opportunities that I'd be very interested in any input that y'all would have. Say, if you want training. Or you could say, even if you don't want the training, you could say to Regina or me that I think we need some people to have famous training again, because they haven't logged in 2 years, and they always come to me to do it. And then we'll get the message. We'll try to do that. I don't. Anyone want to follow up and ask me more about that? That's a hard administrative, it's a hard administrative
There
job.
are certain numbers of classes that are required, and the Division of Finance sends out notifications that
There are certain training classes that are required, and the Division of Finance sends out those messages to the individuals that have not had the required training at a certain period of time. I don't think the problem is associated with that. I think sometimes that training is too, it doesn't get down into the weeds, and then the people don't understand the specific needs or requirements for their particular document. So I try to cover that in account managers' meetings from time to time if it's related to the financial end. So if you have those kinds of concerns, I can set that up for a training session in the account managers' meetings as well. Will we find out what, if any, merit increase is for FY13? If so, will we get a separate letter or have to wait to view total compensation letter for HR committee?
I assume there'll be a letter.
yes.
Okay, there'll be a letter. The budget was just approved, right?
Yes, the budget was just approved. The final reviews by all department heads of the current salaries that were input into the system, including merit, were reviewed. Once we feel secure in the budget office that all those numbers are accurate, we will then send the message to Jeff to send out the template to the supervisors. You should be hearing something within a week that those templates are going to go out to each employee, okay? I have a follow-up to that. How will pay raises in September be given? Longevity, performance strictly based on performance, or appraisal rating? Are they going to be
Appraisal rating?
I guess they're wanting to know if they're going to be done on. Are you talking about the merit process itself? It's already taken place. Okay, so they are effective on 9/1. But were they done off for performance, or was it just a flat across the board? No, we are not allowed to do across the board increases. Merit is merit, and so they are varied amounts depending upon. Now you have to have a certain score, minimum score, and you have to have an evaluation on file. Those are the two requirements. When the campus hours are Monday through Friday with weekends off, and we have to work after these normal business hours and on weekends, shouldn't we get a shift difference pay? We already make minimum wage as it is, and we have talked to people at College Station, and they get this. They say it's up to the VP to approve it. I think it's only fair. I think they're asking if they work weekends and overtime, they should pay overtime.
Bill?
Sure. Yeah.
Jeff, you know?
I don't know what they do up at College Station. I'm not sure what their protocol is. I can do some research on that and find out what they do. But at this point in time, I'm not aware of what their processes are. We can do some research on it and get back to you on that.
Okay. All right, next question. This is a long one. this was an actual email sent to the staff and council. TAMUG PD friends, I'm not upset with y'all on the lease. I understand that you have a job to do, and you did it. This has to do with the parking permit increase. I also understand that you informed the campus community as soon as you were notified of the increase in cost. My complaint and the reason for my anger is I feel that this increase in cost, be it a modest increase or not, was brought to the campus attention with only 2 days to reallocate their family's budget to accommodate the increase. Most of the people on campus live paycheck to paycheck or have very little savings, so for those of us who live on a budget, this increase will affect them in some way. Just for example, for anyone who got a 25-cent increase in their hourly rate, this increase sucks up the entire increase in their pay for almost a month after taxes have been taken out. Granted, I know that our cost of parking is significantly lower than College Station's cost. However, we are a significantly smaller campus with way fewer roads to maintain and very little signage. And since this email has my complaint in it and is going to my SAC person, we need to do a much better job with the signs off the campus. For instance, the visitor signage in CLB parking lot are virtually unreadable, and it's an embarrassment. And one more thing, personally, I don't believe the faculty and staff should be paying as much as a student who goes here. We are working here for far less pay than anywhere else outside of academia. Yes, it is a choice, but we don't receive very many benefits of that choice, and more of those benefits are being taken away from us each year. Up until recently, faculty and staff didn't pay as much as the students, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I'm not upset or frustrated with the TAMUG PD. I'm upset with how the increase was made, and made without any adequate notice to the campus, to the TAMUG community.
I'll give you a quick answer. The decisions involve lots of input. Everybody got input to the decision on the parking fee for this year, including staff, faculty, students, the whole 9 yards. The notification process was not handled well. No, it was not handled at all. That would have been something that Brad normally had done, and no one at my level or at any level